Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
At BlueNile.com, you can find endless ways to make your moments sparkle. From classic and timeless jewelry gifts to creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. And right now, you can save up to 40% on fine jewelry and 25% on engagement ring settings during the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale, going on now. Go to BlueNile.com to shop the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale and save up to 40%. That's BlueNile.com.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Welcome to Plathville, Season 6, Episode 9.
Nice.
I just got it. That's what walls are for.
There you go.
Oh, that's a shame. That was a missed opportunity that the sex ed episode wasn't Season 6, Episode 9.
It's like they were trying to line that up, huh? Line 'em, dine 'em, 6 and 9 'em.
I'm so excited to talk about this episode. We finally got something that had some substance to it.
Is that what you got out of this episode? You can have that opinion.
I'm just ready to rip on it. How about that?
I think that's what we're here for. Yeah, because I think my main assessment was just how Kim and Barry kind of had Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes all throughout this episode. So I did like that tension. It was like they were two spies who found out what the other one was doing, and now they're trying to come up with ways to unalive each other.
I'm excited for you to hear the episode description.
Okay. Well, here, first, we got the TLC description for this one is the entire Plath family joins Moriah in Tampa to prep for her music video shoot, but concerns grow over Kim and Barry being able to sleep under one roof. Olivia and Lydia Grace try their luck at speed dating, but no one measures up to a certain someone Olivia already has her eye on.
I feel the need to point out that Hosanna and Lydia were not here at the making of the music video, so we don't have the full Plath family.
And neither were the little ones because they're filming in a bar, and we know that Kim has standards when it comes to that, and if the courts are keeping an eye on this visit.
She has taken them to a bar already this season.
They did line dancing.
Doesn't
outside
Amber
of a bar.
teach line dancing at a bar?
Not in a bar, though. See? There are lines you just don't cross, Carly.
She can wait outside.
You're going to leave a child unattended outside of a bar
Let
while they're
her
filming?
make some money. She can start a line dancing
I don't
class.
like where that was going. I don't like that suggestion. Let's hear your episode rewrite description for this one, because I feel like we're already going off the rails a little bit here.
The Plaths scheme to take over production of the show and start with Moriah's music video. Kim and Barry share a roof and a motive. Olivia discovers she's not the only quirky one at speed dating.
I don't know if quirks are the way that we're going to go, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Well, I guess, do we want to do Olivia's storyline up front? Because it was kind of, we just breezed through it.
You're just skipping through announcements? You're
Oh,
like,
wow.
You're really wanting to do this episode.
I'm raring to go. I'm in rare form today.
We've got fun things to listen to that are coming up. We're going to be dropping our recap of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that we recorded with Brooke and Tess of the Psych Legal Pop podcast. That's going to be coming out at the end of this week.
There was so much to go over. We had to split it into 2 episodes, so make sure you catch it part 1, part 2.
If you're not watching it, you need to. I do suggest that maybe you split it up a bit. We had to binge it in the course of a day and a half in order to record the episode. It was like a very confusing Mormon soda-filled fever dream. Although everyone else seems to be binging it too, just because they're so into it.
There were people on the Discord who had blasted through this entire season, all 8 episodes, the night that it came out. So
more power to you.
Yes. View at your own risk.
And pace. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City starts next week on September 18th. We're still figuring out if we can fit that into the schedule. We really want to do it. You know what? We need Bravo to get their shit together and approve our screeners so that we can make that happen for you. So send some hate mail their way. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
No.
You won't get an answer back from anyone anyway.
Yeah, believe me. We've tried.
So that's tentatively something that's slated out as well. And then, of course, on our other podcast, Surviving Sister Wives is back for season 19 starting Sunday, September 15th. So if you are interested in what is going on with the Brown family, you can catch those episodes over there dropping on Mondays.
We just did a great crossover episode with Ace and Caitlin of Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided. Did a little season 19, episode 0, precursor, pregame sort of experience over there for this week. So be sure to check that out too.
As always, if you like what you're hearing here, you can listen to it ad-free over on our Patreon, as well as recaps of our Let's Talk About It episodes where we talk about other things, like Chimp Crazy.
That's coming out this week.
Let me tell you, those chimps, they love nothing more than a crispy Diet Coke. Between that and Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I got to tell you, I am craving some Diet Coke.
We had our soda fill for the weekend, I think.
All right, here we go. I know you're rearing to go. So you want to just get through Olivia's storyline?
Yeah, let's just knock it out. Because it was just the speed dating. That was it.
Yeah, and I feel like the episode was better for it.
I don't know if it contributed too much. It was kind
of...
No,
I mean the fact that there was less Olivia.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying like the speed dating segment really broke up the monotony of the Plath segments. No. But I was going to disagree with you, respectfully, of course.
So she's still hanging with Lydia Grace, and they're going to be going speed dating. Although, Olivia's getting pretty serious with this East Coast guy, Brendan.
Brendan Fraser?
I know that's who you are convinced it is.
I really want it to be Brendan Fraser, but I don't think it is.
Pretty sure it's not.
Brendan Fraser from The Mummy, specifically? Was there some sort of awakening that happened during that? Maybe. It was for a lot of people.
This is obviously purely just for entertainment and so that they have something to film.
It was going to be, there was nothing else to film for this week. We have to do something. This is something that we can do.
I will say, Lydia Grace is giving her some good advice, though. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You did this before. You married a guy very young. You didn't have a relationship for very long. You went all in on that. Now, it's kind of like you're doing the same thing. You met this guy, you really like him. It seems like you're ready to jump on board there. Even though it's a long-distance relationship, maybe see what else is out there.
Keep meeting people. You say yes to experiences as a whole. It doesn't mean you have to commit to anything with anybody specifically here, but just meet some people. Talk to some people.
And tonight is going to prove to Olivia that maybe her judgment is pretty sound. Because what's out there, not really a convincing story to not pursue Brandon.
Because Olivia's holding everyone else to these very high standards that, is it Brendan or Brandon?
I don't know. I'm going to keep calling him different things.
Okay.
Yep.
B-Man is over here setting the tone for this relationship because Olivia just loves these conversations. She has some pretty lofty goals when it comes to their relationship because they're not even officially in a relationship right now, but they're talking about changing the world together. They're having very different pre-dating conversations than I've ever had.
We didn't talk about how we were going to change the world together, Corey?
I don't think we did. I don't recall having those types of conversations.
I don't think I'm that important. Is that sad?
Yeah, it's a little sad. If you're asking me a question, I'll answer honestly. Sure, yeah, that's a little...
Well, it sounds like she's been having these really in-depth conversations with him, but did she come here with a list of anything to ask these guys? Because it was awkward conversation from the start.
It was mostly just a list of screener questions trying to figure out people's political beliefs.
Do you think that's what she was doing?
No.
No.
That was my joke that I was making. It's the lesson that she's learned from her relationship with Ethan. How do you feel about QAnon?
Do you know what being red-pilled means?
Where were you on January 6th? Well, we go ahead and kick off speed dating here, and Olivia's first match arrives, and it turns out it's Steve-O from Jackass.
Oh my God, it was! I didn't put that together until now. A striking resemblance. You could have fooled me. His name's Christian. So maybe that's his cover when he's out in public.
Yeah, that could be an alias for him.
Well, if this was Love on the Spectrum, Connor would have started clicking his pen at question number 1.
Right.
Because she's talking about how she likes to go to museums. That's what she would want to do on a first date. And he's like, oh, boring. I would much rather staple my balls.
Have you ever shot a bottle rocket out of your asshole?
That was a striking impersonation, Corey.
Hi, Olivia. Welcome to speed dating.
So it didn't go well. But she's decided, you know what? I am going to lean into my quirkiness. I'm a dork. I like museums. I like to read books. That's when he pieced out at the end when the bell rang and he was like, thank God, because I didn't want to ask her any follow-up questions about how she likes to read.
I'm getting out of here. You lost me at museums, and then we really disconnected at book learning.
Louie is up next. Well, Louie is up next.
And he is speaking pretty clearly with Olivia, Olivia. Can you use it in a sentence, though?
I was lost here at the fact that then they start talking about spelling bees and he is confused about why she would be into that. You just spelled both of your names, dude.
The confusion that he hit her with was so unwarranted. Where she was making the joke about, oh, would you ever consider joining a spelling bee? And he's like, why would I do that? I don't know.
I don't know, Louie. You showed up here and started spelling things.
Why do you sit down at a table and spell out people's names back and forth? I thought the spelling thing was your thing. So trying to make a connection here. This is what it's like on Bumble Friend Finder.
We would be really bad at speed dating. Lydia Grace, in the meantime, she's fucking crushing it over there. She's having great conversations. She's flirting. The conversations are fluid. Until she gets a guy who talks about cooking breakfast and he brings up 4 eggs, which was very specific and also definitely something Corey would say.
Why would you say that? Why are you calling me out like that? But Lydia Grace shames him immediately with his weak-ass omelet game of 4 eggs.
He thought that she was calling him out for 4 eggs being a lie.
Too much. Yeah, he thought we were going too far with the eggs when a moderate amount of protein per serving is 3 eggs required for that. Just saying, statistically. For part of a well-balanced breakfast, of course.
No, we went very Beauty and the Beast all of a sudden. She's like, a dozen.
A cool dozen.
Just a dozen scrambled. We'll split them, half and half.
And that was Steve-O. And Steve-O was like, that sounds like a lot. It's a lot of eggs. Why do we need so many eggs?
Because we're going to have 18 children, Steve-O.
Do you even lift, bro? Talking about these gains.
My favorite by far was Connor from Fargo, North Dakota.
It is Fargo, North Dakota, right?
Yeah, he was from North Dakota.
Okay.
Because then he specified Fargo, and it was like, is there another place in North Dakota?
I thought that's where the people come from in North Dakota.
He's like, it's pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. You have to make stuff up to do, like Jeffrey Dahmer did.
Maybe not exactly like Jeffrey Dahmer did.
And this is where I would lose someone at speed dating, because I was not turned off by the Jeffrey Dahmer comment. I was turned off by the inaccuracy of that, because Jeffrey Dahmer was not from North Dakota.
No, he's from Milwaukee.
Exactly.
It's Wisconsin. Yeah, that's where I had to go, oh, was he the inspiration for your mustache as well, sir? Got a little Dahmer look about him. And he's telling all of this to Olivia, who's also a photographer, where it's like...
Does she know who Jeffrey Dahmer is?
From her reaction, she seems to have a pretty good idea who Jeffrey Dahmer is. Relax. I just want to take some pictures.
See, this is the thing. I would scare the other person with my knowledge of serial killers.
Yeah, if you're going to open that door...
Get ready.
I don't know if you're prepared for the amount of conversation where this is going to go.
Do you want to talk about Ed Kemper?
If you're talking about serial killers I respect, let's go ahead and open up that category wide open. Let's go.
Needless to say, not a great night for Olivia. Although she made sure that she didn't get rejected because she rejected everyone first by putting 0 people's names down, so there's no way she would get a match. Lydia Grace got 3. We saw 2 people that she talked to.
One of them was Steve-O, so maybe he'll make an appearance. He's got another segment coming up where he's going to have to run across some crocodiles or do something.
That'll spice things up here. I could see Lydia Grace with someone like that.
With Steve-O?
I think she's got a wild side that she's ready to embrace. She's been trying.
Yeah, it's really hard to chug a beer up your ass by yourself.
Looking for partners with mutual interests.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
You want to go to the Plaths? They're the majority of the episode. So Moriah has already started destroying the rental house that she has in Tampa. There's clothes everywhere. There's dirty dishes. There are crumbs on the counter. And I thought, man, that's not a surprise, though. It's Moriah. And then we find out that Kim is also here.
Contributing to the mess. Not so much the cleanup, because adulting sucks. Am I right, Mom?
There's just too much space here. She's used to the confines of the RMS Mumspringa.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard. There's just a lot to keep clean now.
Well, normally she just brushes it off the side of the boat and it goes into the marina.
Right into the water.
Yeah, the ducks come and clean it up.
The whole point of being here is that at some point they're going to shoot a music video for Devil in a Suit and Tie.
Just like how they're going to eventually drop this album that doesn't really exist. Still haven't seen it.
I love that they invited everyone, including Veronica, because Moriah needs to infuse some positive energy into the video, because if it was just her, it would just be really sad and depressing.
Well, I think this is the problem generally with her music, too. Aside from instrumentation, vocalization, the general aesthetic and sound of it, the tonality that's used, but also it's a fucking bummer. It's a downer. These aren't fun songs to listen to. You don't feel good listening to it because this is somebody's trauma that's being released from them, and that's what she's working through here.
So how are you then going to have a music video that is completely disjointed from the message of the song? We're not going to think about it that hard.
Can we make it more literal somehow? Okay, we take an over-under bets on if she's actually going to have horns in some sort of costume change as part of the filming that's going on.
1,000% there are going to be horns involved and a tail.
A tail. Oh, boy.
A little devil tail. Will Barry Plath play the devil?
I think he already is. I think he's been living up to that role for quite some time.
I guess the budget was pretty small for this production because they ended up with a 3-bedroom house for them to stay in. And they're already trying to figure out, where is everyone going to sleep? This is going to get really awkward because the The most important thing is that we separate Kim and Barry. They're okay with staying under one roof, but they're not going to share a room.
Which is a big sigh of relief to KK Ken back home for Kim.
I love that she is so enthralled with the idea that one day Barry and Ken are going to come face to face and that they may have a physical altercation.
Yeah, they're like beta fish. You can only keep one in the tank because you put another one in there, they're going to start fighting.
These two men are going to go so far into different areas of the house. If they had been here together, they would never come face to face. They would avoid each other the whole time. There is no alpha.
I don't know, because I feel like Barry would just saunter up to Ken and just start talking his ear off. Well, yeah, it's just he would annoy him, and then maybe Ken would swing on Barry first, maybe, and then Barry would get to say...
He's got a lot of hatred in him.
Well, yeah, because then that would unleash the fury that Barry holds deep, deep within, and then that would be his excuse, was that he was defending himself.
Do you think that they're both secretly excited to be here together?
Kim and Barry?
Yes.
I think that Barry's excited to mentally torment Kim in any way that he can.
And I think that Kim is excited to put some ammonia in his morning coffee.
Just a little splash of Drano into some scrambled eggs for him. 12 scrambled eggs? That's too many. You've now watered it down.
She's been draining washer fluid out of the cars outside for a couple of hours.
These are really sweet eggs, Kim. What's in that?
All right, well, first we have our lovebirds, Micah and Veronica. We've got to check in on them because they're packing to come on the trip. And she just cannot help but criticize Micah for everything that he does.
Everything is a disagreement between them. Every single thing.
It's annoying. They fight over everything. There's constant bickering. Why is he packing her clothes for her while she just sits on the bed?
I don't know. He's picking out outfits for her. They're debating on whether or not they should be bringing an air mattress because, again, there's not enough beds. We already know that. I think the real raw deal here is that Moriah is paying for the show's paying for the rental that they're staying at, the B&B here, the Airbnb. But then when Moriah was talking about the room arrangements, she was talking about that she might have to sleep on the couch when she's the one who set this up.
She wants to make sure everyone is comfortable, Corey.
Well, I think she was just afraid to even mention to Barry that he should maybe sleep on the couch because that's what Micah confirms too, is that the air mattress would probably be an option for Micah and Veronica because used to be when Dad and Mom were together, they would always get the bed.
And then forget to have a place for their children to sleep.
They just curl up on the floor.
Whatever. Sleep on the floorboards. It's okay. We'll throw a blanket down. It's only for one night. We're finding out that Veronica is already deeply ingrained within the Plath family.
I was going to say, yes, that she's getting enmeshed very nicely. She's fitting in well.
Of course she is. She's besties with Moriah already. They're texting together. She's been giving Moriah advice. Micah is thrilled about this because he thinks that it shows that Veronica has more family values, or she values family more than Olivia did. But I want to remind Micah that everyone liked Olivia at first, and Olivia liked you guys at first.
I think that the only thing that this illustrates and confirms for us is that Veronica has just as bad a judge of character as the rest of the Plaths.
Well, and as Olivia did when she was 19.
Very clearly, yeah.
Yeah. This is part of the playbook. This is the Plath family playbook that we're watching here.
But Veronica's still blown away with some of the history elements of Micah's upbringing, with the no sugar, with him being born at home, with him only being 7 years old because he only got his birth certificate 7 years ago. How they don't wear shoes on the farm.
I don't think she's going to do well when she gets to Cairo.
I don't think Veronica's going to be kicking her shoes off on the farm. And so that will be a separation point, a distinction between Veronica and the rest of the family. And it will quickly become an us and them situation again.
Right. What's going to happen when Lydia invites you to go on a walk with her through the dirt to talk to Jesus and you want to put your shoes on? That's not how we connect with the Lord.
God made dirt and dirt don't hurt.
Is that a real saying or do you just make that up?
That's a real, I mean, I've heard that saying before. I don't think I made it up.
God, okay. Well, back at the rental, Kim, Moriah, and Isaac are here. I guess Isaac's been hiding because we haven't seen him at all.
He's keeping it low key.
Is he worried that Ken's going to show up?
I think so, yeah. Or whatever he does, Kim is going to report it back to KK Ken.
So they're already there, and now Ethan and Barry are going to be showing up. It's moments before they arrive, and for some reason, Moriah is like, let's go hide.
Yeah, that's not usually like the first reaction that I would have if people are coming over, especially when there's not a surprise party.
It's not a party or anything.
It's not, there's nothing.
Surprise, your ex-wife you hate is here. Well, she's not technically your ex-wife yet.
Technically, it's still your wife, so yeah, surprise, your wife is here.
I think it's because she's so afraid of confrontation that she didn't want to be there to witness when Kim and Barry looked at each other for the first time.
But unfortunately, she's not very good at hiding because Barry spots her immediately when he walks in. And I guess the relief aspect here is that Kim and Barry, they don't interact too much in general, which wasn't too far out of the norm for them. I feel like that was kind of a pretty good baseline that they had going.
Right, that's how they were when they were married. And also, they're passive aggressive. That's how these two people fight. They're calling it conflict resistant, but they like to actively ignore each other to try to irritate the other one.
Barry and Kim are both messy bitches pretending to not be here for the drama.
1,000%.
But that is exactly what they're doing here.
And then Ethan is so dopey and so disconnected from reality that he thinks that this is super impressive that his parents can share a house for a weekend because there's no way he and Olivia could ever do this. Of course not, because you and Olivia talked about your problems. Not so much him.
I love that the reason why Ethan is here is he's going to be Moriah's comedy consultant for ideas for her music video, or at least that's how we'll be billing him for this episode.
He's the family clown. That's what he has to contribute when they get together.
He is the least funny version of himself that we've ever seen on this show because he is wildly depressed about his divorce.
Well, it just shows you the toxic family dynamic, that everybody's going right back into the roles that they originally were part of. And that's what he has to do, is be the family clown. Although I don't know how you're going to lighten the mood on the whole devil aspect of the video.
That'll be with the costume, probably. With the horns and the tail, perhaps.
Maybe a little bow tie?
Well, suit and tie. You're going to need the suit, too.
Oh, so we can't have a bow tie. It's got to be like a tie.
Maybe we'll have like a David S. Pumpkins sort of devil suit.
We can only hope. I don't think anyone's doing wardrobe for this, so it should be very interesting.
So then we start talking sleeping arrangements. Moriah gets to throw Kim into turmoil by offering up the room that she's been staying in for the past 2 days. She offers it to Barry.
Would you like to sleep in Mom's dirty sheets?
She's
been rolling around and thinking of KK Ken.
She's just going to have to pack up all of her stuff and move it into another room, and then we'll get all that stuff figured out and situated. But no, I think futon. That's where Barry's going to end up. That's fine.
You know that room already smells like seaweed.
Yeah, she's got her public bathroom bare feet that are just all over
over the sheets.
Dunk tank feet.
Oh no, I just started thinking of the feet again.
It's that camera angle was something I could have done without.
Moriah is like fully responsible for the communication because Kim, Barry, and Ethan are insufferable, and they're all just standing around this table, staring holes into oblivion while Moriah starts rambling.
And Moriah, when she gets nervous, she just starts rambling. She starts talking, she starts going, and she doesn't stop. But she's also in a room full of people who shut down in uncomfortable situations. So
perfect combo.
She is now trying to carry this conversation single-handedly and just run with it. So let's go eat instead. Can we put some food in our mouths so we don't have to talk or try to talk?
I guess it's the next morning after they wake up because Kim is in the kitchen cooking breakfast for the first time in I don't know how many years that she has made breakfast for the family because, you know, Lydia's not here. And Barry walks in. I guess she was not up as early as Barry was because he's already gone on his daily walk. They're the only two people awake that we can see. And he's like, well, it smells great in here. The kitchen smells really good. But I already had my sausage, egg, and cheese because the kombucha place was already open.
And there was no kombucha in the house, so I had to go seek it out.
Where is this man finding kombucha? Have you ever passed a kombucha bar?
No, I've never had that happen. But yeah, just the way to kind of subtly dig, I couldn't wait for anyone else to make breakfast. Well, couldn't you get up and make breakfast for everybody? That's what Kim's in here doing.
Apparently the ingredients were... Barry doesn't cook. Men don't cook for other people,
That's
Corey.
the problem. Yeah, well, he's been up since 4. He went for a walk. He got his bacon, egg, and cheese.
He's had his kombucha. He's a little buzzed.
He's a little buzzed now. And he's met with silence. He's not getting anything from Kim.
Silent treatment 1,000%.
So now Barry's confused because Kim's usually such a positive, uplifting, glowing, bubbly person because that's what we've seen 5 seasons of prior to this.
Just really not in her character.
And she's not giving him anything here. So maybe she just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I couldn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed because I slept on a futon. That was my bed that I was supposed to be sleeping in, and she woke up on the wrong side of it.
You think there was any chance that Barry was going to cook any of the food she made anyway?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No, just like he wasn't going to participate in the dunk tank. He doesn't want anything to do with anything that Kim offers anyone.
Which is why they're still taking the steps to work on being friends. Because it's hard to downshift from this hot and heavy romantic partnership that they had. Remember when they kissed for like 45 seconds in that gazebo in season 1?
No.
Oh.
I remember, and I don't want to.
Yes, it's just like toes in the dunk tank.
I didn't know where the toes were going to go when you just said that.
Yes,
I was
it
worried.
just pops right back in. Well, and toes on the chalkboard there too.
He does find an excuse to leave the kitchen because Ethan and Isaac are not awake yet. So he's like, I'm going to go figure that out.
Okay. You have fun with that. Whatever.
I can't believe she answered him at all. I thought she was going to fully stonewall him and say nothing.
She was working on it. And then you hear the faintest little mousy cry from the other room. It has to be repeated a couple times. We had to turn the volume up to make sure we didn't miss it.
Mom? And Kim's like, whoa, no one's ever called me that before. Especially my children. I'm not geared to respond to crying. She doesn't have that instinct within her.
Oh boy. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a what from the other room.
She gets pulled aside into a bedroom where Moriah is hiding, and they close the door. For some reason, this is a big secret that she wants to keep. And she starts getting very upset. And we find out the reason why is because she has to do her hair for the music video. And she has no idea what she's going to do because she tells us that her alopecia that we learned about last season is back. And I don't...
Oh, why are you laughing? This is a serious medical condition, Carly.
Okay. I actually felt bad for her this time. I didn't last time. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because they made it seem like they were about to unveil a secret that was some really horrific shit that happened to her the last season when they talked about it. This was really sad because you do actually see where she has lost her hair. That, of course, she's gone through a stressful situation. She's calling it heartbreak, but let's be real, it's stress.
Barry referred to it as trauma at one point, which...
That's better than just heartbreak. They
I'm
call
surprised.
everything heartbreak when they're upset because Ethan's calling it the same thing.
Are you feeling blue? Is that what she means?
Yeah, they're one step away from just calling it blue.
But yes, the alopecia storyline is flaring up again for us here.
Oh my God.
Why did they need to boost the contrast so much on that photo of her as a child where the light reflects off of her head when she went completely bald? I
didn't notice that.
I think that was a step too far. They could have dialed that back a little bit.
Okay, I have like really mixed feelings about this because I feel bad for her. This is a very real thing that people deal with, and it's very emotional. I understand that. What I'm upset about is that it feels as though the Plaths are producing this show themselves, and they've decided the things that they want to share, and that the story about her alopecia is what she wants to share, rather than telling us the nitty-gritty details of what happened with this guy who contributed to her losing her hair.
Plus, this is all just a way for Moriah to need Kim in a way that Kim can kind of come in and reassure her and be the superhero that she never was her whole life.
Okay, I will say, I teared up when Kim was being so kind to her and was being motherly and hugged her and told her that she was beautiful and whatever else she said to her. And then I instantly was like, wait a minute, no. This isn't Kim Plath.
Oh, well, I was going to say...
Kim Plath is fooling me.
I was going to say, I had a very different reaction because, yes, the words were coming out at first, and it was okay, and it was building to that. But then the moment that we got was the close-up of Moriah being hugged, and it was Kim with a tear that was falling from her eye as she was, like, caressing one of Moriah's bald spots. So, like, that was the shot. And so then I was like, well, now... this feels very manufactured.
Didn't it feel manufactured? See, that's where at first I teared up and I felt bad. And then I felt weird about it because it didn't seem authentic. And I'm upset because I feel like people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, look, this family is so great. They just needed to get all back together and on the same page. Olivia was the one who ripped them apart. And look how normal they are.
And Barry's taken the blame internally within the Plath family when it was very much, Ethan had called her out as the neck that turns the head. And we're aware of Kim's involvement previously, but now on the show, she's the fun, hip, cool mom.
And the director now.
Who's there for you when you have your alopecia breakdowns.
She was like, honey, turn your head a little bit more towards the camera. Turn it to the right. Then Kim alludes a little bit to what we're going to find out later in the episode, that the next guy that Moriah dates is getting a full background check.
Can Moriah please write a song about going to therapy? I know she said in passing that she needs to write this music. She needs to get this stuff out of her system. But then she kind of dismissed therapy. Like, I don't need to go to therapy because I have this, was almost the implication.
This is my therapeutic outlet, writing music.
And it's like, can we try therapy for a little bit, though? Can we do that? Maybe make that an album, a whole album about therapy, perhaps.
It seems like she's being very mentally and physically affected by what she's going through. So therapy seems like that might be an avenue to explore.
So to say, I'm going to go to the studio, that should help with my alopecia here today. I don't think that's the solution that we need to explore. Maybe there's some other avenues we can go.
You can do both.
You can do both. That's what I'm saying. Write an album about going to therapy, even though I probably won't listen to it. Let's be honest.
You know what you are going to listen to? I'm glad it's not September anymore.
We're going to get flagged for copyright on that. That was pretty accurate, Carly.
That's the only lyric. So we're heading to the studio to hear a piece of her album that you've been able to hear on Spotify for like a year now.
Yeah. And we're hearing some other tracks too. I don't know if we heard, I think we did have one of the other ones, but yeah, September is the one that comes up because we're hanging out in the studio with Micah, Veronica, Barry, Ethan, and the producer, Cliff, who is giving everybody some notes before he plays these. Yeah, we still got some work to do. There's some vocals, we got some layering, we got a couple of retakes here and there. So, don't judge it too harshly.
I was annoyed at Cliff because he seems to know more about what happened with her relationship than we do as viewers.
I wish they would have pulled Cliff aside and asked him some questions.
Yes, can we interview Cliff? Because we need to know more about what you learned over the making of this album. Because we know nothing.
I thought it was odd that Moriah was talking about how she's making this album so that the guy who broke her heart can hear these songs.
Yeah. I thought that was weird too.
That seems like it's not the target audience that you should be going for with this.
Maybe that's why she hasn't posted it yet. Do you think she just made the album? She put it on a...
What do you think she was delivering? What medium?
I was going to say a thumb drive, but I don't know if she knows how to use one.
I don't think
and she just mailed it to him anonymously. It was like, listen to this. I made it for you.
Well, that's the thing is like, if that's the person, if that was the relationship and this was the context of the breakup and all of the terrible things that happened, I don't think they're going to give a shit that you're writing an album about this at all. They don't care what they did to you. There's no remorse there.
This person, from what we learn about him, does not seem like he would give a shit.
And as soon as they start talking about it, Moriah has to excuse herself from the room.
Which, okay, I understand she's clearly going through a lot emotionally. But we want to hear it firsthand from you. And instead, we're finding out that everyone else is in the know except for us.
So we're getting Barry's assessments on the situation. Again, terrible read. I don't care what Barry's opinions were of this dude. And then we're getting Micah and Veronica's input.
Veronica has the fucking tea on this whole situation. That this guy would cancel dates on her last minute, that he asked her to keep their relationship private, that she was telling Moriah, that's not really normal, you know. You should maybe be a little concerned about it. He would do things like lead her on, and he would promise that he was going to do better, which sounded a little bit like another Plath.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was like all these different tests. He would do things to control her and kind of like torment her, basically.
Yeah, like say that he was outside of her apartment, and then by time she got down to open the door, he would be like, oh, you were too slow. I left already.
My wife was just coming out of the grocery store. I almost got caught. I had to leave.
This is very catfishy. It's giving Mary's Catfish from Sister Wives.
Do you think that Moriah had to date someone horrible who was wanting to be private just so that they could pressure Veronica to film on camera with them?
Because they didn't believe that she was who she claimed she was?
Well, not even that. It's the long con here, where it's for the betterment of the family, is that Moriah is going to have this relationship with this person who had terrible intentions and wanted to be private. And so then now Micah is like, look, we can't have any private relationships in this family anymore.
That's an interesting angle, but I also think that Kim Plath saw the opportunity to recast Olivia with Veronica and jumped on that. Because if you remember, Ethan and Olivia were pressured originally by Kim to even participate in the show because they didn't want to do it. So she's good at convincing people who don't want to be on this show to somehow join it.
Very much so, yeah. And at this point, too, we get kind of some of that backstory as far as where Ethan and Moriah's involvement was, too, because then they're talking about how the boyfriend had kept Moriah away from her family, and he was the reason why Moriah and Ethan were having such a hard time in their relationship.
I call bullshit on that. That's an excuse that she has manufactured after the fact to cover up the fact that she was immature about Olivia stealing her music.
Very much so, the reason. I don't think that this dude cared about your relationship with your brother at all.
Or maybe she was complaining to him about all the things that Olivia was doing, and he was like, you should probably not talk to her anymore.
Well, same thing, yeah, with Ethan. Oh, if he's upsetting to you, then just cut him out of your life. The less people in your life that you can rely on, I need all of that dependency on me.
But I do not believe that story.
So this was where they had revealed that they had found out the boyfriend had some other lady in his life, whether it be a girlfriend or a wife or somebody, and a kid, which that explains a lot, I guess.
The kid was a surprise to me, but I know that we already suspected that perhaps this was someone who was in a relationship and that she was kind of like the side chick.
It was one of the few options that you could go with at this point in the story. But Barry was just amazed by this guy. Like, master levels of deception. He was really impressed.
They had a 3-hour-long conversation. They were really getting along. They were enjoying each other's company, and now he found out that he did all this. It kind of makes him want to wring his neck or do other violent things like that, you know?
I don't know if his flippers would be able to cause enough damage on the guy's neck. If he'd be able to get enough pressure on there.
He's Squidward-like, isn't he?
His tentacles are just, it's not doing the job here. But basing it off of a 3-hour conversation that you have with a person one time who's probably on their best behavior and giving you the best version of themselves and then never speaking to them again, and you're surprised that you didn't actually know this person very well?
Corey, I'm surprised that he didn't let the guy propose to Moriah at the end of the day. That 3 hours was enough.
A 3-hour tour. That's all it takes.
Kim knows.
Yeah. Aye, Skipper.
I just thought it was disturbing when he said that, because I was like, Barry, we know you have a lot of pent-up rage inside there, and I didn't really need to see you start to express it on camera.
Well, he also slept on the futon last night. He woke up on the wrong side of the futon.
Now, the part of the episode that I believe the Plaths think that we were all very excited for, which was to watch Moriah and Ethan collab on a song together.
Yeah, we have to keep working on the album. It's not done. Moriah has to get answers to all these questions that she never got answered at the end of this relationship. I don't think she could ever confront the boyfriend ever with any of this stuff. So this is all just a very passive-aggressive way of dealing with this, too.
I thought that she said she recorded the whole album in a week.
She did say that.
But this is another song we're adding? Garden.
No, it's... Well, yeah.
Walls Up.
You want to guess what it's about? What do you think the song Guarded is going to be about?
Guarding your heart from people who may hurt you.
She's got the walls. She's got her fences up.
Again, this is a song designed for Mary Brown.
Very literal.
This is a Worthy Up anthem.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good.
It's been a long time since Ethan has sung, though, so he's a little nervous.
But Moriah feels like this is the perfect song to bring Ethan in for, because this is something he can relate to, being guarded, being not vulnerable at all. But then Ethan really opens up to us, where the reason why he hasn't sung much in the last 6 years was because that bitch Olivia really took his voice away from him.
She mocked the Plath family band.
How dare she?
Also, who hasn't? Who hasn't mocked the Plath family band? But then she also specifically told him he didn't have a good voice.
Say what you will about Olivia, but she deserves a medal for saving us from the last 6 years of hearing what we're about to hear on this segment. They sing like no one is listening.
They have a very unique way of singing.
You can hear how nervous they are. There's a fear that is ingrained into everything that they sing.
But I was wondering, did she let him see the lyrics before they started singing? Or
she did not know the lyrics either.
This was like the first time. It was a blind read.
They are sight reading this, and this is their first shot at it. And God help this producer, this poor soul who has to hit spacebar when this take is over and say, yeah, I think that was it. That's
we
the
got
one.
it. One take wonders.
That's the one, because I'm going to lunch. I'm going to go fill out a couple job applications because I think this was the take that's going to make me quit.
He's probably already worked on the rest of Moriah's album, so he knows how many hours he's in for of editing this.
You could do 50 more takes. You're not going to get one better than that.
We're going with this
They're
one.
all right about that level. So then the producers are asking, Ethan, is this the reboot that we've all been waiting for? Plath Family Band 2.0?
This was where I got irritated again. This whole thing is designed for the setup of the Plath family band getting back together, and that's going to be the tail end of this season that they want us to have a high on, of watching this family reunite to sing together.
Well, and Ethan is very excited about that because he has no other prospects on the horizon. So he will take you up on that.
Someone should tell them that there's not really money in music anymore. I feel like Mama Kim doesn't know that. We got to get them on the influencer life. We need Lydia as a trad wife. She's got to get on Mom Talk. We got to figure out how they're going to make money beyond this show, because the Plath family band is not going to be the thing that's going to be raking in the bucks.
I don't think I was prepared for how bad it was going to be. And I mean, he said he hadn't sung in 6 years, which that's not true. They were just singing the other night, too.
We watched him sing in 2 or 3 other episodes this season.
This season alone.
He wrote a whole song.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. It's not an original.
Maybe he should just do a Johnny Cash cover album. Call it a day. I didn't say it was going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good.
It could just be a therapeutic experience for him.
But don't release it then. Maybe that.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
that
for you.
And if that is true, if Moriah did decide that she made this album and she was like, you know what, this is therapeutic, this is personal, I don't need to release this. Great. Then tell me that at the end of the season.
We're okay with it.
I support that 100%. But I need to know that because we're talking about a lot of these songs and I still don't see them on Spotify, girl.
Next episode, Olivia and her long-distance boyfriend rendezvous in Arizona for a romantic getaway. It's lights, camera, action for the Plaths as they help Moriah shoot a music video for her new album. As Veronica gets to know Kim, she quickly learns it's Kim's way or the highway.
And we also have a special guest lined up to recap that one with us next week, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a crossover with Kimberly from A Date with Dateline.
Another Kimberly.
Kimberly
to join
will
in
have
on judging Mama Kim, Mama Plath.
So this will be good.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
Hello, this is Danny Pellegrino, host of the Everything Iconic podcast, and I'm here to tell you all about Splash Refresher, because hydration is mandatory, but boring is not. Now, I love my water, but if I don't spice it up, I'm not going to finish what I took out of the fridge. That's why I love my Splash Refresher, which is flavorful, delicious, bright, hydrating, and 0 calories. The wild berry flavor is my fave. No, wait, is the pineapple mango flavor my fave? You know what? All 5 craveable Splash Refresher flavors are my fave because they're so delicious. So get hydrated and enjoy it with Splash Refresher.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.